Hi, so a little knife review video today. This is on a new Slipjoint knife from FALLKNIVEN. Normally there isn't much to say on packaging, although I always do comment on it. In this case, beyond the sort of fairly standard white slip, which obviously gives the brand of the knife, the fact it's the LTC, the legal to carry, and some information on the rear about the 10-year warranty and sharpening guidance. It comes in this really attractive little wooden box, very reminiscent of old style pencil cases. And I just thought it was really nice branding on the top there, FALLKNIVEN, and that really impressed me. So within this, obviously you have the knife wrapped up carefully here. We'll take a look at that. So yeah, the packaging really does give the impression of a sort of care and interest in the customer experience and sort of the quality of the product. I mean, you could argue that obviously they've spent some money on the case when really what you're interested in is in the knife, but you know, I just think this really adds to the ownership experience, and I always like nice packaging. So the knife itself, this really has intrigued me for a little while. As soon as I saw it coming out, I was interested to find out more about it. Mainly due to the blade steel, but we'll get onto that a little bit more in a moment. I personally really like the clean look of this knife. There has been comments on sort of knife forums that there's almost an absence of design, just too simple. Maybe it doesn't look like it's finished. You know, the shape of the handle, the scales, you know, has enough thought gone into this. But for me, I really like it. This is sort of Bauhaus design, similar in some ways to the Lamy 2000 fountain pen. You know, it's a knife with all the added extras sort of stripped away, and it's plain and simple. You know, its sleek look adds to its pocketability. You know, there's nothing to snag on here, and I really like it. So as I say, this is the LTC, the legal to carry, and you know, it is well suited to carry in the UK and across Europe. It's slip joint, it's below 3 inches blade length by some sort of considerable margin. It is a small slip joint, and you know, it's a simple functional knife. So as I said, one of the things which really intrigued me was the blade and the steel. Obviously the blade is I guess you'd call that a drop point. It certainly seems to be at a full flat grind, which is my favourite grind. You know, it slices nicely through an apple or anything like that without sort of wedging itself in and splitting, which is what I really find my issue is with hollow grind. But it's a flat grind or a very shallow hollow grind. But lovely little Swiss Army knife style feel to it. Nail nick on both sides, which is sort of probably unusual for a Swiss Army knife, but that's what you've got. And then you've got, importantly from my view, a little sharpening notch, little sharpening choil, whatever you call it there, and that basically allows you to sharpen the blade effectively, keeping it away from the plunge line, keeping your stone away from the plunge line, and getting a nice even sharpness and not getting a sort of recurve effect where it doesn't hit properly down there. So the handle, that's where the criticism lies. Not from me, I quite like it, but you know, that's where people have said there's a lack of design in some senses. For me, I really like it. It's perfectly powder coated aluminium scales, riveted, as you'd find a Swiss Army knife. I'd prefer a little pivot screw, but there you go. Perfectly fine, tight, flat back, flat spine, slight belly on the underneath. It isn't smooth in terms of it isn't rounded. The edges are somewhat sharp. They're certainly 90-degree edges, but to be perfectly honest, that helps with the purchase. That's no bad thing in my opinion. The fit and finish is really quite flawless. The pivot is perfectly smooth, so the blade moves up and down very nicely. It's very clean from the factory, no debris in it, and the back spring is of a sort of medium strength, I'd say. Pretty firm, but not ridiculous, and that really complements it. It's got a nice solid click and sort of a very positive full stop, although it doesn't have a half stop. There's nothing in between. Really very nice. You know, I don't think you'd find many slip joints which have this good a fit and finish, to be honest. One thing I missed, the thing which I brought me to the knife, is the blade steel. This is FALLKNIVEN's fabled 3G powdered laminated steel, and we'll maybe try and get in for a close-up in a minute, but it's got a very nice little line along there where you can see the lamination of the steel. I think that's really attractive, and you know, for the price point, I think this steel is a fantastic addition to the knife. Okay, here's a nice little close-up of the blade steel. There you can see the line in the lamination, and just have a look over and see the general fit and finish. I'm really impressed with the fit and finish on this. So really all there is left to say and do is to do some size comparisons and maybe a couple of close-ups. So as I say, it's a smaller knife than some would expect. Quite often it's deceiving how big things are when you see the pictures. This is definitely along the lines of a Victorinox Waiter, which is a sort of mid-sized Swiss Army knife, rather than the full-size Swiss Army knife, such as this, which is the single-bladed Pioneer. And you'll see, hopefully you'll see, I'll do a proper close-up in a minute, that they are of a somewhat different size. So this is very much pocket-friendly, and the Victorinox Waiter here lives in my jean pocket, and it could quite easily be displaced by this little guy. It really is the perfect size for a jeans pocket. Okay, well, let's get in for a little close-up and a bit of a size comparison. Okay, now by way of a little size comparison, just lining up with some other UK legal knives. First of all, the Bokeh XS, the Victorinox Waiter, Spyderco UK PK, Bokeh Nano 42, Spyderco Pingo, and the full-sized Swiss Army knife, in this case a Pioneer in Alox. Okay, so let's just open those up. Okay, as you can see, very much a peer with the mid-size Waiter there. Okay, hope that's useful. Apologies if any of the knives are dirty, they all get used. Okay, well, wrapping up now, you know, I've really enjoyed getting my hands on this knife. I think it's a really good addition for the price point to any sort of knife collection, certainly if you're in the UK, and if you use your knives and you want to carry them, this is a great one to choose, I think. You know, if you want a simple design, simple ergonomics, but a very, very functional blade and steel, I don't think you can go far wrong with this. I'm certainly very pleased with it. Okay, well, I hope that's useful. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.